Welcome to Frida Miletsky Healing Arts. I'm your host, Frida, and I am the healing artist. Hello, hello. Friends, I am recording this on Friday, April 18th for Monday. It is Good Friday. You're catching me coming off of an incredible period of time spent online with other amazing women in the Magdalene Mysterium that I'm involved in right now, and it was incredible. And I'm still a little bit out there because we did a past life regression through the Akashic Records at the end of the class, like within the last hour. And my brain is still like, woof, kind of like otherworldly at the moment. In this group, we really work with the feelings of the rose, the energies of the rose. So if you happen to be watching this, I am continuing on with the rose at this moment in time and keeping her in the space with us. So I have the beautiful red rose with me here, representing Mary Magdalene, and I have the beautiful white rose here, representing Anna, grandmother of Jesus. And then I have in front of me here on my altar space this beautiful pink rose, if you can see that. And I will place that back here, representing Mother Mary. So, I'm a little bit out there, but time is what time is, and it's moving so quickly these days, so I needed to hop on here. I wanted to hop on here and just record a podcast while I had this space here to do so. Something I thought it would be fun to chat with you about is ways in which we don't realizing we're lowering our frequency in the world. And that is with weird food. Like if we're eating a bunch of processed food, we can be lowering our vibration and frequency. And then also like things that we watch on the news, the media, social media. What are we putting into our bodies? Who are we hanging out with? Alcohol, drugs, like that kind of stuff. It really can lower the frequency without us thinking that we are. So I really wanted to lean in today let me start at the beginning. Like, I had taken a class with Marie Cherry, a mediumship class, and there were, I don't know how many students there were, 25, 30 students maybe in the class. And afterwards, a group of them, we've continued to practice together. So, just because, any kind of multi-sensory gifts and tools and working in the multi-sensory world, you have to practice. Like all of this stuff is doing it over and over and over and over again. And it's kind of weird. So finding other people to practice with in that way is like a positive thing. So this is a blessing that this group exists. But we have continued to practice together, which is awesome. Well, the other day I was in this practice group and the person that I got paired off with, we were just sort of chatting, and she had asked me a question about how do I tap in and stay connected? Because one of the things you learn in the class is sitting in your lower three chakras, sort of like raising your eyes up at 45 degrees, imagining this waterfall of light coming over your head, and then like getting down in your body, getting embodied, disconnecting from the upper part, disconnecting from the brain space, really feeling into the body, and then from there going into see what kind of messages come through. And something that I'm just able to do now because of incredible bouts of practice, like more than a year of practice at this point, is I'm just dropped in like that all of the time. I can just click into that state. But it wasn't always like that. In order to connect to the other side, in order to connect to what I would call like God, universe, source, higher self, guides, angels, in order to do that work, I would have to like sit in meditation, drop my roots, get grounded, clean and clear my chakra system, clean up my auric field. There was like a whole bunch of steps. I had this routine that I would go through. Then I would sit in meditation. Then I would get messages from my guidance. But now I can just get messages from the guidance all the time. And you might be like, oh gosh, what changed? And what changed was my frequency and what I was choosing to consume. So here we go. I used to be a true crime junkie. I loved true crime. And I spent years of my life and hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of hours consuming true crime television, podcasts, and like grocery store books. You know, those like little true crime novels and stuff. Also, audiobooks. No, let me change it. It's definitely thousands. Completely addicted to true crime. There was a year where I got my like Spotify wrap up, and I remember it was like, you've spent 304 hours listening to true crime this year or something like that. And it's just like, what's even happening right now? It was pretty crazy. Yeah. So at some point, I don't know. If this was a year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I do not honestly remember when this was, but at some point within the last several years, my guidance came through after dropping in, and they were like, hey, we need you to quit it with the true crime. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I love true crime. That's like, I won't be interesting anymore. I had this self-centered fear come up for me that I would no longer be interesting because I wouldn't have anything to talk to anybody else about at parties. That's like what came up for me. And my guidance is like, no, you need to quit it with the true crime. You're going to be able to tap in faster, easier. You're going to be able to keep your connection going if your frequency is running higher, because you don't realize what that is doing to your vibration. So I'm like, okay. I didn't want to do this. I was in massive amounts of resistance around this. So I actually wrote to one of my favorite podcasts, All the Answers, and Cassidy Brown was on earlier if you were listening to an earlier episode. That's his podcast that he does with Katie Rubin. And I wrote into that podcast and asked Katie, I was like, hey, this is what my guidance is coming through with. I'm in resistance to it. Can you give me any more information about it? And she was like, yeah, quit it with the true crime. Do it maybe once in a while, and you're going to find that you're going to be able to tap in, and it's going to make that connection clearer. So I was like, all right, it's been verified. I'm going to try it. So I actually just quit it. I stopped. I quit true crime cold turkey, because if there's one thing I'm interested in, it's like, if you think that, if I have the notion that I can get better access to intuitive abilities and better access to multisensory experiences, that is the best way to get me to do anything, because that is what I am like probably the most interested in my entire life. So if I have better access to something by like no longer eating meat, I'll stop eating meat. Or like they're like, hey, stop eating meat for this period of time. Fine. No more refined sugar for this period of time. Fine. Caffeine. Fine. Like, tell me what to do. If it gives me better access to God, universe, source coming through into my brain, into my head, if it makes me a better channel or a more connected channel, or if I can connect faster, go deeper. Yeah. I will get out of my own way for that in all ways. Always. I will always get out of my own way, because it's my favorite thing in the entire world. It's what I'm here for. I'm all about it. Anyway, yes, she confirms this. I just quit. I quit cold turkey. And she was even just like, oh, just maybe like take it down to do it 5 or 10%. She even said just do it sometimes. And I'm like, no, I want nothing to do with it. And every once in a while now, I will watch something low vibrational on TV. And then afterwards I sit there and I do a clearing of my entire system in order to like not carry those vibrations with me. Because stuff that I used to love horror. Horror movies touched on a certain kind of trauma that ran in my nervous system back in the day, in high school, in college, way into my 30s. Horror movies, I'm the #1 fan. I can't even touch that stuff anymore. I want nothing to do with it. The frequency matches me 0. So there really is something in this. Okay, circling back. I have this practice group, and the girl that I got paired off with, she was just chatting with me, and she wanted to know, how do I stay tapped in and all this sort of stuff. And I thought about it, and immediately I was like, oh my gosh, I started being able to hold this frequency when I quit true crime. And it turns out that she is already, like, she also is a true crime junkie. And she's like, I don't think I could quit true crime. And she was just sharing that the same thing that I did. It's what she talks to her friends and family about. And I'm like, oh my God, I had the exact same experience. So I thought that was so funny that in that moment, when they paired the rooms off in the practice section on Zoom, that I just happened to be in this room and that she just randomly happened to ask that question. And it just happened to be the answer for her that she was kind of looking for as to how can she get more connected. Now, I don't know if she's going to follow through with it. I don't know if she's going to quit it with the true crime, but I thought that was actually really, really interesting and something that I thought I would just share with you. So as far as chit chat goes, I don't have a ton of other chit chat. I'm chilling here with the roses. I am pretty way out there, and I'm really looking forward to, I'm setting up some interviews with some beautiful friends. So we're going to have some wonderful episodes coming up of interviews. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot. I'm pretty blown out, busy. I've been so incredibly busy. And I have this sort of moon cycle chart. I've been charting my moods through the month, like working with the moon and my cycle, and noticing that this last week I have been incredibly annoyed. And also just really feeling into the way I would put it would be like feelings of the divine feminine getting left behind, or feelings of the divine feminine carrying the baggage, being left behind, being responsible. I've been feeling a lot of like annoyance and anger and just like moving through a lot of different things. Now, this isn't like anger at someone. This isn't directed towards another person or directed towards something. It's sort of just like a general collective anger at the divine masculine / the patriarchy / removing the patriarchy from my own system / meeting my divine masculine but also being mad at them at the same time / working a lot with the fact that my calendar is so incredibly busy. I'm having some difficulty resting, and in order to do the work that I do, it's really important that I'm well rested. So trying to learn how to have the balance of the feminine and the masculine and having it come together in a way where it is the yin and the yang. I'm in the process of learning this now. So I'm kind of floating in the ether, pretty out there, and just this is what I've been working with. And also this last week, just using a lot of EFT, tapping. This hump day healing, we're going to do an EFT tapping episode. So hooray, you get to learn more about that emotional freedom technique and AKA tapping. But yeah, I'm not gonna worry too much, and I'm not gonna stick around. I'm just gonna allow it to be. So if you're watching, here are my beautiful roses, bringing you an energy on this Good Friday of unconditional love for you, your higher self, asking that you just are kind to you. I will be kind to myself. You will be kind to yourself. Noticing when you're not. And yeah, just sort of like, if there is something that you do consistently that you may not realize is having the kind of impact it's having on your life, aka like the true crime, maybe you check in with your higher self, you check in with your guidance, and you sort of see, hey, is this what I should be up to? What if I took this out of my life for a period of time and see, maybe you'll be able to get connected quicker. And it's just a thought. All right, well, that's all I have for today, in truth. So I love you, God, universe, source loves you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.